This podcast will hopefully contain words or statements of obscene, pornographic, or immoral character.
1, 2, 3. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Potty Mouth Records podcast. Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to the Potty Mouth Records podcast. Rootin' tootin' spewers of poop.
Woohoo! Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Oh my God.
I can talk again. I can breathe again. I sound like a human being again.
Dude, that's fucking awful. Not that you sound like a human being, but
yeah, so first blast of COVID, and that shit fucked me up. No doubt about it. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, they've been saying the whole time that it hits everybody differently. Like, you just don't know, what's going to happen when you get it. And I mean, I'm consider myself a pretty healthy person for our age bracket, probably a little bit above average on the health spectrum. And that had nothing to fucking do with helping me at all. I got so fucking sick.
so what all happened? Like, lost your voice?
I mean, it was basically like every fucking thing that you've probably heard about someone having COVID. I think I fucking had it. So what was crazy is, well, first of all, as far as a flu type sickness, 100% the sickest I've ever been in my entire life out of any flu type sickness I've ever had.
Wow.
So yeah, I started feeling kind of sick on like a Tuesday, and by like Thursday, Friday, it was just like started out with just body aches and fever. And I mean, it sucked, but it was tolerable. You just feel like shit, whatever. Took a COVID test, confirmed I had COVID. So I'm like, fuck, well, this is my first actual confirmed case of it that I know of. And yeah, so that lasted till about Saturday, Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday of the following week, I just started getting like the most brutal fucking cough, and it just was really dry, like the most dry, unproductive cough I've ever had in my life, where you're just like hacking so much nonstop, like feeling like something's going to come up and clear out, but like nothing ever comes up. It's just like dry. And I couldn't fucking stop coughing. And it went on for like days and days and days. And then it got to be like a week into coughing. And I finally called, well, we have a friend who was actually, it's kind of crazy. We know someone who was an actual COVID ER doctor. And we called them, and we're just like, hey, like, here's what's going on. Like, should I go to urgent care or try to get into the doctor? So she sort of like ran down all the list of like asking me, are you experiencing this? Are you experiencing this? I'm like, no, pretty much like no to everything. And she's like, you're fine. She's like, it might not feel like you're fine, and this probably isn't going to make you feel any better, but she's like, you pretty much just have like standard COVID. And if you go sit in the urgent care, they're just going to like listen to your breathing, and they're just going to send you home and like tell you like, sorry, Charlie, like there's nothing we can really fucking do. Cause apparently there's some like new like drug out now that like if they catch COVID early enough, they can get you on this sort of like antibiotic type deal that sort of like lessens the severity of it. But I had already passed the window of like when you have to start that. So she's like, you're just going to have to like ride it out. So basically the criteria was, if you can still breathe normally and you're not having trouble breathing, they're like, they're not going to fucking do jack shit. If you
No fear of like pneumonia or anything like that, bronchitis?
Well, so yeah, so what ended up happening is after about a week of the fucking coughing, it actually progressed to bronchitis. So I did end up getting bronchitis really bad, and that's kind of like why it sort of lasted so long. So I think like really like the first maybe 2.5 weeks was actually like dealing with like the repercussions of the actual COVID. And then like the next 3 weeks, almost a month, were actually just like full on bronchitis. And I finally did have to go and get medication to actually stop my cough because I was like just like chugging fucking cough medicine, and like basically wasn't doing anything. Like it would give me a little relief. And then from all the coughing, I got laryngitis really fucking bad and like completely lost my voice. Like completely. Like I like couldn't fucking talk. And
That
what was
hurts the podcast a little bit.
yeah.
Oh, geez, oh, Pete, it starts
Well,
again.
not only hurts the podcast, but so on about the third week of me having my COVID, we had a Spacewax show planned that was that show out in like Phoenix area. And I don't know, it was like really weird. Like a day or two leading up to it, I was like, man, we're probably gonna have to cancel this show. I don't see how I can even do it. And then kind of like a day or two leading up, I started actually feeling a little bit better. My fever wasn't as bad. My cough was kind of not as bad. I got on that medication and it was kind of helping. And I was just like, fuck it, let's just go. Cause I knew I was past the contagious part, you know, like I was testing negative. So I knew I wasn't going to like spread it to anybody. So we went and fucking played this show and my voice was fucking shot the whole day. And then, I mean, you know, this like type of shows we normally play, the type of music we do, you know, there's never like a super decent PA or like, you know,
Until now.
Yeah, you don't have sound wedges or anything like that normally. So we get to this show and the guy running sound, he actually brought some floor wedges. And I actually, because of having that floor wedge, I was actually able to sing a tiny little bit and like sing my parts that I needed to sing. And which I wouldn't have been able to do without the sound wedge, because it definitely helps you to not, you know, you're not forcing your voice as much when you can actually hear yourself fucking sing. But then the next day, voice was fucking gone again. And I think just like that one night singing definitely pretty much made me start my laryngitis phase completely over again.
Oh my God, that's so fucking wrong.
So then from that day, from that show, it was like a month. I really just started to get my voice back kind of to the point where I sound normal again about a week and a half ago. And it gets better every day, but I still can't sing. Like I tried, kind of got into playing guitar about a week ago and just kind of strumming and humming just to kind of see what my voice would do. And I was like, oh, it's feeling okay. And then I tried to kind of do a song or two of my solo stuff, and I'm like nowhere near like can get into that register at all yet. So yeah, it was fucking crazy, man. Like I definitely, dude, like if you fucking get COVID, man, like definitely fucking stay away from old people in your family. Like no fucking shit, because you're going to fucking kill them probably. If they get it how I fucking had it, you're going to fucking kill your grandma if you go around her. So like if you get fucking COVID, like please stay in your fucking house till you're better.
Unbelievable. You know what? It's so crazy. We blame Mom for our super spreader event, which is awesome. Makes me happy. But, well, we're glad to have you back in one piece.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to be back, man. I feel bad for anybody who got that shit as bad as I did. It's not fucking fun. I hope I never have to fucking go through that again. It's no fucking joke. So like if you're someone who got COVID and you only got it a little bit and you're thinking like, oh, it's not a big fucking deal, like maybe rethink that and just please fucking stay away from old people.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, we went through that just when it happened with Marv. So yeah, it blows.
Yeah, dude, like honestly, like I probably didn't even have it remotely as bad as what Marv had it. So
that's what's unbelievable. That's the part that is still just, it's so hard to fucking believe that it can pound your body that bad.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. Like honestly, I don't even want to keep talking about it, but I couldn't even believe like how fucking sick I was. Like I would wake up every day and actually have like a conscious thought of like, how is this even fucking possible? Like I just didn't even know it was possible to feel sick like that.
So I am a moron that enjoys the once a year flu where it shuts your body down. You can't do a fucking thing.
Yeah.
But I could not imagine being fucking stuck in bed or just diminished to the point where you can't do shit. I mean, I've had pneumonia multiple times, sadly, but I can't imagine it just lasting and lasting and lasting.
Oh yeah, it was fucking horrible, dude. Just like every day waking up thinking like maybe you're gonna feel a little bit better, and like there'd be some days I'd go for like a span of 2 or 3 days where I felt like I was getting better, and then I'd wake up and felt like I regressed like 5 days, and just be like, oh fuck, like why am I feeling like way worse now? And yeah, it was crazy. I totally I had like no appetite, so that was like one of the biggest things the doctor lady said is like just keep your appetite up. And that was so hard. Like it was so hard to try to eat. Like I just had no appetite to eat. And I think that was making things worse, that I wasn't getting energy to like help my body get better. Didn't feel like really drinking anything. Completely lost my sense of smell. Completely lost my sense of taste. My sense of taste and smell didn't come back for about, that happened in like the second week. And then it was probably about a month after before I got my full taste and smell back.
All this from fucking camping. You should learn your lesson.
No,
That's all I have to say.
Wasn't even camping. I'll tell you exactly where it fucking happened. I know exactly where I got sick. It's when we went to that Steve Aoki concert, that DJ concert. Because
I forgot about that.
That was that was the last episode that I was on before I got sick. Was I was talking about going to my first like kind of like DJ show, and yeah, like just some fucking like young dirty ass fucking group of kids were just probably around us spreading their fucking teenage fucking germs everywhere, and yeah.
So I'm gonna side rail the conversation.
Yeah.
Because you bringing up the DJ makes me think of lights, and then it makes me think of the fact that you requested to have fancy lights for the reunion show.
Well, I didn't say fancy lights. I just said lights that aren't fluorescent lights that are in that bar we're playing in. That was sad as fuck when I was watching other bands who played there. I'm like, can we please not play under fluorescent lights? This is so not cool.
So I'm hooking the brother up, and we got some fancy lights. So to test them out last night, we were trying to figure. I spent an hour on the couch trying to figure out how to fucking make these things work because I wanted it to move with the music and couldn't find the input. But I did set up some scenes, and while I'm reading and trying to figure out how to get them to work, I put them all up on the fucking. We have a bar that kind of looks into our dining room, or it's basically a window into the dining room from the kitchen. And I put all the lights, I got 4 of them, they're 300 watt, and I lined them up, and we waited for Gavin to come in, and I fucking blasted him with the fucking lights.
That's awesome.
I'm like, bah! And he was so unhappy with me. but we did figure him out. I was sitting in bed, and I actually found the right toggle, and I'm beatboxing. Right. And Amanda comes in from the bathroom, and she's like, I was like, are the lights on? She's like, yes, because I can see something flashing in the kitchen because I still had them set up. But I was in the bed, like beatboxing, and the fucking kitchen's going, blah, 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 blah.
So you figured out the sound activation mode.
Yeah. And then, of course, nice. I told Blythe to come down and look, and then she had to videotape it. So I had to beatbox for her into my phone so the lights would go nuts.
You mean Bryce?
Yeah, Bryce. Wait. Oh yeah, she's got one more day. She's got one more day as Bryce, and then she'll be allowed to be Blythe again.
Yeah. So one of the only positives of being fucking sick and not being able to do the podcast is actually being able to listen to the podcast. and enjoy it from a different perspective. And yeah, it was actually, definitely sincere thanks to Gene and Fred for filling in. They did an awesome job. And yeah, like honestly, I was like, it's kind of fun to listen to the podcast. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, like I kind of feel like I'm gonna maybe from time to time drop out every few weeks and like let those guys do some episodes because I don't know, it's fun to actually be a participant on the opposite end.
And I want to do this as well because I think it would be cool from the same perspective. Like,
Yeah.
even when you sit and edit it, it's so different because you're numb to the podcast itself.
Yeah, sure.
And it's more production work than it is a listening experience.
Yeah.
So I definitely, yeah, because I can't. It's so weird. It'd be cool to listen to you guys on the outside as well. Just so I think it'd be fun to hear.
Yeah, no, it's definitely cool. It gave me a different perspective on what we've been doing and just yeah, I don't know, just in general, just like I think like at the very, very beginning when we started doing this, I was listening back to the first maybe 2 or 3 episodes, or like the first maybe 4 episodes I listened to just to, because it was also new. And I'm like, what, we didn't fucking know what we were doing. I mean, we still don't know what the fuck we're doing, but we know a little bit more now than we did. So yeah, just like listening for like, what are we doing wrong? What can we make better or whatever? And then like after about the 4th episode, I quit listening. And those ones with Gene and Fred are the first ones I've listened to since probably like the 3rd or 4th episode. So yeah, it was cool to actually, when you're living it, like you said, it's like you just kind of just like put it out there and you already lived it. So there's really no reason to listen back. But listening to you guys, it was like really fun. And I definitely want to have that experience selfishly for myself in the future. So I'm definitely going to peace out on some episodes here and there to give those guys a shot.
No, they were great. I loved having them. I mean, fuck, it's, like I said last episode, I've known Gene fuck almost as long, not as long as you, but I think I've known him longer than anybody else. And Fred and I have been dating for the last 30 years. So yeah.
Yeah.
They couldn't have had better co-pilots if I ask.
I mean, really, that's kind of crazy to think about too. I never even thought about that till you said this just now. But I mean, obviously, I know that you have like a way, way closer relationship and have technically known him longer. But I've actually known Fred about the same amount of time because I pretty much met him like sort of right when you kind of met him.
That is fucked up to think about. Yeah, you are absolutely correct.
But yeah, I mean, I remember going down there with you one time when you and Kate were still together, and then went down again not too long after, and like is when I met Fred.
Right. Well, yeah, and I think they started hanging out with them like the second year they were there. Does that make sense? Because I think I met Jen year 2. I don't think they were friends or hanging out. They might have started hanging out year 1, but I think they were rooming in year 2, and that's when we met Fred. Yeah. It was crazy.
But yeah, so I've known him for basically 30 years as well. Maybe not 30, but I've known him for pretty close to 30.
It's fucking pretty close to 30, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably 29. Well, 29, somewhere in there.
You know what's really crazy I was thinking about recently is when you like very first moved down there and I was driving down every once in a while to stay for the weekends and stuff. It's crazy to think about that I used to drive that fucking Impala down there that I had. You remember that car?
Fuck yeah, dude. I remember that bitch.
And that
thing was awesome.
That car was fucking sick. I had this 65 Chevy Impala. It was my uncle's, and I was basically just borrowing it from him. He never really gave it to me, quote unquote, but I drove that thing for a couple years, and dude, that thing had like so many issues with it. Like really, that was the type of car you should really only drive like locally.
Probably
like you should not have, I should not have been driving that car on the freeway because it had brake issues And I remember like definitely a couple occasions coming home from your house on like a Sunday and getting in traffic, and like sometimes you'd fucking push the brake and it would just fucking go to the floor, and you'd have to fucking pump the brakes really quick to like get it to stop. So it's
Oh,
crazy. It's just crazy to think about. I drove that thing on the freeways and shit like all the time, and it was so fucking dangerous. And that car only had lap belts in it, which I never even wore. So like I was always driving that car with like no fucking seat belts, which
how crazy is the thought of that? Is the fact that seatbelts weren't even thought like an issue.
well,
Like the fact you're thinking about now that you like wearing the seatbelt, because those things just sort of ripped you in half.
oh yeah, well the lap belts definitely. I mean that was kind of my whole thing because I mean it was definitely. I'm pretty certain at that point, like if you didn't have a seatbelt on in your car, you would have gotten a ticket. I mean, I'm sure that law was already in effect in like early mid '90s. That was
Yeah. Oh
definitely a
no, it was
thing.
definitely was. It was when I started taking driver's ed. I think is
Yeah,
when it
totally.
started.
So, I mean, I knew those fucking lap belts. It's like, yeah, like you said, it's like if you get fucking hit in that, it's just going to cut you in half. So I just took my chances on just never wearing any belts in that fucking car. And I was just like, well, if I get fucking pulled over, I'm just going to get a seatbelt ticket, I guess. But never got pulled over in that car, luckily. But yeah, that car should have never been driven down to your fucking house ever. That was crazy. But yeah, I was just thinking about that not too long ago. But that car was fucking cool, man. I remember we had at one point, I remember I went and picked up a bunch of people at a skate spot. We all like met up to go skate somewhere. And I remember we had, I don't remember the exact count, but we had like 4 people in the front on the bench seat. I think we had like 6 people in the back. We had something like 10 or 11 people in that car at one point.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Safety first.
Yeah. Like 11 people, like being fully responsible for a car full of 11 people with no seatbelts. And that car's like essentially like a fucking tank. So if that car like gets into a wreck with like any type of modern car, it's like you're basically probably all dead because it has like no crumple zones or anything.
You have mowed through whoever you've hit. Yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, you've annihilated the other car and completely killed everybody else in your car in the process. Well, and plus the fact that most likely that car still had all the original glass in it too. So I don't know when they started putting like fiber in glass so it doesn't shatter or whatever, but
Yeah, the laminated glass. I would imagine it had to be some sort of laminated or tempered, but yeah, still. If it's the original glass, oh my god, yeah.
yeah, I mean 1965, I'm sure they were probably doing stuff like that by that point, but I'm sure the engineering of it wasn't great yet though.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, I don't think it was at the level it would be at this point.
No. So yeah, anyway, kudos again to Fred and Gene for killing it, holding down the fort till I could get back, and yeah, definitely have those guys on more often.
I miss Gene's death ass cat.
Yeah, Gene the crazy cat guy.
Oh my god, how awesome is that?
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I love how much he takes care of cats and stuff. I just still find it humorous. But you know what? That's the fact that he actually posted something on Instagram a few days ago, a little story about that cat that he has right now, the little deaf cat. But he was, I don't remember the exact details of the story, but he had said something like when he was a little kid, this little cat came up to their house and it was like the middle of winter or something. And he was just like a little kid or whatever, but he just, for whatever reason, he didn't even like think to like go in and like ask his mom and dad if we can bring the cat inside, because it was so cold out or whatever. So he like didn't bring the cat in, didn't ask his parents if they could bring the cat in. And I honestly, I don't remember if he said the cat died or if like when he came out the next day it was gone or whatever. I forget what he said.
I was gonna say, let's just pretend like it moved on.
Yeah, yeah. And then, but the whole point of the story was that kind of like changed him moving forward, like how he thought about cats and, you know, probably like animals in general, but mainly cats. And that, you know, he's become like a protector of cats now ever since that incident. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
pussy protector.
totally. And
Oh my God, that needs to be a T-shirt or
pussy
at least
protector.
a song. Yeah.
but it's about Gene. It's not about like a plastic wall that covers a vagina.
Or it could be one and the same.
Yeah. That'll be your job, is to write the slickest lyrics ever that serves two purposes. As a vaginal cup and also as Gene as a protector of felines.
I don't know. That sounds like a great band name, Vaginal Cup. Or we could have a battle of bands and the winner wins the Vaginal Cup.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That would be
The
oh
Vaginal
my God,
Cup Invitational.
Oh shit. That would be fucking phenomenal.
That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, his story though, I found it touching because it was relatable to me, because I had a very similar experience with like kind of why I have such an affection for birds as an adult. I mean, basically I had like a very similar story to his, in which I was, you know, because we've talked about this on here before, but like not so much anymore, but I grew up like everybody in my family pretty much hunted. So, you know, I grew up like getting drug out into the field in the fucking, you know, cold ass morning snow to like sit on a fucking stump and like look for deer and shit. And it was always boring as fuck, but it was cool. You know, like all my uncles like taught me how to shoot guns properly and like proper gun handling. And so, yeah, it was like cool to like learn all that stuff as a kid, but I just never really was like into hunting or anything. Didn't really interest me. And then when I got my first BB gun, I remember my uncle got it all dialed in for me with the sight, so it was super accurate. And I got pretty good at shooting. I'm like still to this day, I'm actually like a really good shot with a rifle. But anyway, I was out walking around one day and this little bird flew and like landed on a fence post.
I'm gonna be so sad.
And was just sitting there. And like, I was a little kid, man. I was like probably 8 years old, out with my BB gun, just kicking around. And I like saw this bird, and like, you know, just in my mind, it's like when you see like an animal out in the wild, it's like you're supposed to hunt and you're supposed to like shoot stuff. Like that's what I grew up around. And I saw this little bird sitting on the fucking fence post, and I like raised my gun up and aimed at it and shot it. Like maybe in my head, almost thinking like I wouldn't even hit it. Like I was trying to, but didn't really know I would, I guess. And I shot it and hit it, and it just immediately fell off the post. And I remember walking over, and like it was like already, you know, it was dead, obviously, and it was just laying on the ground, and it was just there. And it was really like my first experience in life with sort of like a life and death moment where it was made so immediate to me that just like how quickly something can be alive and dead. It's like it always kind of makes me think of the scene in Kill Bill at the end where the little daughter, they're like her and David Carradine are like talking, and he's explaining about how her fish flopped out of her fish bowl and she stepped on it to stop it from flopping. And obviously she killed it when she stepped on it. And then she like realized what she had done like immediately. And it's like, that's exactly how I felt, is like, I knew that I killed that bird and like it was dead. And I swear that from that moment, that was like maybe one of the most pivotal moments in my whole childhood that I think really changed the trajectory of like where I was going to go as I like grew up and became an adult, like how I felt about other living things, and just like how I felt about just how like you need to be protective of things and like not be so quick to like pull the trigger on something. And it like that, I was already not interested in hunting anyway, but then that really turned me off from like, I never wanted to hunt and just never wanted to take the life of something ever again. Like I just knew like that wasn't who I was as a person. And, you know, it's like why I kind of grew up like being into birds. Like my grandmother was a very avid bird watcher. I may have talked about this before, but we had this special window in our kitchen that was a bird feeder that and it had one-way glass, and birds would like actually fly up and we would like identify birds. And so I even have a bird book now that I've been using for the last couple of years and identifying birds in the area out here. And so that's like a little secret hobby I kind of have that like I don't really talk about that much just because it's just like, I don't know, it's just something I've always kind of been into. But and why we got chickens. And just I love having chickens and they're so fun. And I think it just really all comes back to me doing like one terrible thing that actually turned into a lifelong pursuit of protecting that which I kind of destroyed at one point, I guess.
No, it totally makes sense. I don't have anything like that. Yeah, it's weird. You know what? We had so many beer cans laying around that was never an issue for me shooting a bird.
Oh yeah, and that's what was so fucking stupid about it too, is that, you know, back on the farm, I mean, it's like there's literally like a billion other things I could have shot at that like would have been completely fun and okay, but like I don't know, in that moment I don't know. I guess if you're like a person who believes like things happen for a reason, like if I think of all the good things I've done since then because of that, then like, you know, I don't know. Maybe it was some good in it for some reason, I guess.
I was going to say one life, now you save lives, so it's okay.
Yeah. But I just want to also say that you're the only person who can probably relate to this, who listens to this, that I know of. Maybe there's some other chicken keepers that listen to this podcast, but dude, there is nothing like I grew up with dogs and cats and I love dogs and cats and dogs are awesome, but I swear I don't think there's anything that brings me joy as much as watching chickens run towards you because they know they're getting ready to like get their treats. That's like the happiest I am every day is when I go out and see the chickens get excited and follow me around and run to me. Like it puts a smile on my face every time.
We are trying to train Loki around the chickens right now because he came back from his doggy obedience school.
I've been meaning to ask you like about all that.
And he has come back and he's not a different dog.
Yeah.
He's still an asshole, which I very much didn't want him to change from that.
Yeah.
But he listens a little bit more.
It's good.
And he has a collar, but it's a vibrator. Kind of like Gene's little red vibrator he shoves up his ass. But this is a little neck when the Loki wears.
Wait, is this something that I missed from the previous podcast?
I think we were, I think, it might have been. Sorry.
Maybe don't even tell me. I'll go back and listen. Maybe I missed that one.
But it was part of the juicer conversation like 3 episodes ago.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so the first time that like Loki and I walked out together, and I'm like, because while Loki was away, the chickens were so fucking happy because they had free run of the backyard,
stress-free chickens.
Oh my god, they were dropping eggs left and right. It was fucking mayhem in Chickenville.
Yeah.
And Loki comes back and like I started feeling bad. I'm like, this is not fucking cool. Like I'm already trying to figure out how I can section off the back portion of the yard so that they can run the back at least.
Yeah.
But so he and I sat outside and I'm like, I'm just going to let him out and I'm just going to like give him verbal commands to stop him. And if he doesn't, I'm going to buzz him. So I swear to God, I think he thinks fucking Klaus has magical powers because Klaus is coming after him and Klaus is in the air like kicking and I'm like zip because Loki's going after him and I'm buzzing him and Loki's like, what the fuck is going on, dude? Gotcha. And the chicken's like running at him. He's like, Kaya! And then all of a sudden he feels a zap behind his ear and I'm like, It was funny, but it didn't take much to keep him from doing it. And Gavin just did it with him today, and it didn't sound like there were any problems.
Oh, that's cool. And I mean, you know what? Honestly, like with repetition, he'll probably get to the point where maybe, I'm assuming that the goal is to eventually wean him off of that thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't want him on it. Yeah, he hates it.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, repetition, man. He'll start to get the hang of it. I think it's just like all dogs. It's like we talked about this before, and we took our dog to training, and it's like, you can only do so much, and there's just some dogs are like people, man. They have a certain quirk about their personality, and like they just don't want to fucking change it, and you just gotta like adapt to accepting there's certain things you might not be able to fully handle.
Well, they when we picked him up, and Amanda's cousin went through everything he taught him, and he was like, and we kind of gave up on the what would it be, the lay down command. He's like, it wasn't working, and he's way too strong willed. Like we're gonna work on the stuff that he understands and responds to. He goes, we're gonna hammer that home, and that's what we're gonna work on.
Yep.
So, like I said, if he just comes back when we yell for him, that's really all I want.
Yeah, yeah. Just to have enough control over him so you can kind of corral him when you need to corral him, basically.
Yeah, when he escapes and goes nuts in the neighborhood, I want to be able to do that.
So I don't want this to become another animal chicken episode, because I know people, I think, make fun of us when we get on chicken tirades, but I did want to share
chickens.
I did want to share this with you because this is a cool little thing we got going. So in addition to the chickens, we started work. So our landlord has a bunch of like little vegetable garden boxes that they abandoned last year, and they're letting us take them over. Because my dad sent me a bunch of seeds a couple years back, but we haven't really had a chance to do anything with them. So we actually got these little garden beds all cleaned out. We're going to start planting soon, but we have a bunch of vegetables and stuff to plant. But we just got this.
Oh, that is awesome! Jonathan is showing us the official Sweet Pea Farm.
It's time for an official Potty Mouth Podcast potty break.
Awesome.
So the chickens have been fucking going off with laying eggs, dude. It's crazy. Like we kind of thought that we'd be able to stay on top of like eating them as they're coming out, basically. Because I usually eat about 2 or 3 eggs a day, which is what we're getting. We're getting 3 a day, usually. And Trisha only eats maybe like 1 or 2 a week. But I was just like, with me eating them every day, like whatever. But then when I was fucking sick, I wasn't eating, dude. And we had all these fucking eggs accumulate. And dude, we had like, I don't know, it was crazy. We had like 3 dozen or something so fast. And I was like, holy fuck. So we bought a bunch of like little half dozen crates. They're just blank that you can label them yourself. And we got the little rubber stamp, little Sweet Pea Farms rubber stamp. And we've been just like giving eggs to people. So
That's awesome.
It's cool just so they don't go to waste, and just have like a cool way to, because it's like some people have been asking for some, and I'm like, well, how do we even like fucking get them to people? Like we can't just like put them in a bag. So like we're gonna have to get like crates or something. So we just found these cheap, like literal egg crates like you get in a grocery store, and got the little stamp made. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So like hopefully in the next couple months, we're going to be like a full-fledged like little farm going on out here.
Yeah, boy. We go through them so quick. They're like the Silkies are, of course everybody's going to laugh at us, but Silkies, they don't produce eggs at the same pace like regular chickens do.
Yeah.
Theirs is probably every other day.
Okay.
And because they are like next to the smallest chicken you can have, they it's always like a 2-to-1 ratio. So anytime something asks for 1 egg, it's 2. Mm-hmm. So if you sit down to eat fucking eggs, you're going through at least 6 or 8, just because they're not that big. It is like they're just these little things, but they're awesome.
Well, I remember the last time I was back visiting, you guys had that like big like black like grill thing on your counter where you were keeping all your eggs, and there was like a fuck ton in there.
We go through stages. Gavin's starting to eat them again. I think he's buffing up for the summer. So he started getting back into his regiment, eating his protein.
Yeah.
Because he's the muscle man, from Chlamydia.
He is a muscle man, dude. Like, I'll give it to him, man. That little fucker's ripped.
So I asked Amanda yesterday, I was like, do you think he takes his shirt off before they play or while they're playing?
Oh, no. Definitely before.
Before?
Dude, if I fucking looked like that, my shirt would be off way before showtime, dude. I'd be out back with that fucking shit already off, strutting around.
Would you be doing some push-ups before the show to kind of buff it out a little bit?
Oh no, you wouldn't even need to do push-ups. You'd already just be so ripped.
Oh,
dude, that's funny. You were never that ripped. What the fuck happened to you?
I've never been that driven. And I think when I was that driven, I was so fucking fat it didn't fucking matter. Like I just lost weight. But that was it. I've started because I am so worried that my heart's going to explode during these shows.
No, you're not.
Fucking dude. Oh my God. It has been fucking crazy. I've had like lots of med changes and stuff because like I woke up one morning like straight out of bed and I was triple digits on top and bottom on my blood pressure. So that was a bad morning.
Jesus.
So we've been fucking around with the meds, but I have gotten up now. This is my second day, and we've busted out love songs for the unloved, and I'm downstairs beating the shit out of the heavy bag for 20 minutes.
Nice.
So that I can make our set.
That's some fucking good cardio, is hitting the heavy bag, man. That'd fucking get the heart rate up really quick.
Dude, I think I was still sweating when I made it to work. Like, I fucking got up, beat the heavy bag for 20 minutes, got in the shower, got in the car, and I text Amanda. I was like, dude, I think I'm still sweating. Like, it was
I believe it. Well, I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. You've admitted multiple times on here that your diet isn't the healthiest. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Your body's probably finally like getting some cardio. So it's like working overtime while it has the chance to sweat toxins out.
Oh my God.
Your liver's like, fuck yeah, he actually moved a little bit. Let's fucking get some shit out of here.
Oh my God. That is wrong. And you're making me sad.
Love songs for the unloved. That is a fucking excellent choice for hitting the heavy bag.
I found that is like, I cut College Boy and there's there's like a slow one in there that I skip. But the rest of it, is fucking gold.
I think that this is the sixth time I've said this already on this podcast, but we have talked about this before, but it never gets old, dude. Like, I fucking love that record so much. And I don't know, man, there's just so much sheer terror that I love, but I swear, man, when I think of like my go-to, I think it's always that one.
It is as good as it gets for them. I mean, and like I like some of the newer stuff. Oh, and you haven't listened to last week's episode where I said they were one of the bands that initially I couldn't stand.
Oh, really?
Off of that fucking Blackout record, I didn't fucking get it. I don't think I'd really listened to Just Can't Hate Enough that many times, but I remember being so fucking excited for the second album to come out. I had no reason to, because I didn't like anything they fucking did. I just thought that one was going to be gold, which it's fucking awesome because it's got that Jethro Tull song on it and shit like that.
That was Thanks for Nothing, right?
Yeah, but then fucking Love Songs came out, and I'm like, oh my, I don't think they could get any better if they tried. Like that song, except for fucking College Boy. Can't stand that song. But besides that,
I like that song, but I understand why you would want to skip it. But I mean, I love all eras of sheer terror. Like I love super early Celtic Frost worship sheer terror, but I fucking really love the Love Songs, man. That one just, to me, that's the one that was like pinnacle prime songwriting era, and the like production on that album's like really fucking good.
And the fact you can't get it now is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's like
You could
the
probably get it off of
CD.
YouTube.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it. Like
I've looked
it
it
doesn't
up.
stream.
The CD goes for like a fuck ton of money, and I actually have the CD of that because that's when like pretty much CDs were taking over. Is when that came out. It was like 95 ish, I guess. I mean, CDs had already taken over, but I mean, it's from the standpoint of like it pretty much completely killed vinyl. Like you could still actually get vinyl of punk and hardcore music at that time, but not so much mainstream music.
So that came out on a double 10, I believe.
Oh,
Or at
really?
least the one I got. I bought one for Gavin because he was sheer tearing it up, and I knew he hadn't heard that one.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have access to the CD, and it didn't stream anywhere. And I found it on a double 10.
Oh,
it was
weird.
badass. It's fucking cool as shit. Yeah. It's a big old gate.
Not a
I
big
believe it was a
fan
gate.
of 10-inch records, but I have a couple. I have that Warzone split with oh my god, drawing a fucking blank. It's like they're like an older hardcore band, sort of like Negative Approach sounding kind of a band, and they sort of had like a little revival period in like the mid to late 90s. They did that split 10-inch with Warzone.
I
I don't know. It was on Victory Records. I can't think of their fucking name now, but that band was fucking good. And then I have the Humanity is the Devil, the Integrity 10-inch.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have the Chung King Can Suck It or whatever.
do you?
The Judge, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I have that.
I think I actually have a Violent Society record that's a 10-inch record. That's the only three that I can think of off the top of my head that I have. But yeah, never been a big fan of 10-inch records. I don't know why. I mean, I have.
You know
like
what I have above or before the Quarrel? But I have the bootleg version of it. Like I tried to find it on Discogs, and it's like mine's like it has red type.
Uh-huh.
And like the one on Discogs and the I guess official one has like a green type to it. But that is on a 10-inch as well.
Gotcha.
There wasn't a whole lot. I always wanted to do one because I thought they were asinine because they just it was so impractical for most record players.
Yeah, I think like anytime I've ever been to a show where people have 10 inches for sale, it seems like they don't sell that great. Cause for Alarm is that fucking band with Warzone on that Warzone split. I could not think of that name to save my life.
And I
But
think
that
I
band
have
was
a
awesome.
Pulling Teeth had a 10-inch.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think the first record, actually, it might have been the second record.
But so changing gears a tiny little bit, I have sort of like a cool announcement that maybe like 3 people will appreciate. I think you will appreciate this. I don't really remember how much you were involved in this when it first happened and like listening to it at the time. But so anyway, I'd mentioned that my voice was fucking shot and I was kind of jamming and realized I couldn't sing. So that was kind of a bummer. And I was like, oh, well, like, I kind of was like just feeling better. And I was like just in the mood to play my guitar and kind of like maybe try to write some shit. And I was out in the yard one day, just kind of strumming and humming and just dicking around. And it popped in my head this one of these old, like a fucking Jackass in the Trailer Park song. So I was like, man, I wonder if I even remember how to play those chords. So I like just kind of refigured it out and I was singing it. And I realized that my voice that I used on that record, like I can do that voice right now without it like being strained. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I can kind of do that voice. So like I could like actually like make up some shit with that voice since my other voice is still shot. So anyway, this was like on Thursday of last week at like 2 p.m. I had this revelation that my Jackass in the Trailer Parks voice was the only voice that I had right now. And it got me like so inspired that from 2 o'clock to 4:30, I wrote 8 brand new songs completely spontaneously, lyrics and music. And I'm starting to record all those songs next week for a brand new record 27 years later.
That is fucking phenomenal. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
That it makes me laugh that it's fucking 27 years later.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
So that was the very, very first computer recorded audio project I ever did. Yeah, so when I very first got my computer in like winter, like it was like January or February of 95, and I think it was like later that summer, I had sort of figured out that you could, I mean, I figured this out sooner, but I didn't like really figure it out with the implication of like I could actually like record into the computer. So remember in like Windows, you would like go in and you could bring up a little like WAV file recorder.
Yeah.
And I had like just like a shitty computer microphone, and that first Jackass in the Trailer Parks 6-song thing or however many songs it is, it was me just playing guitar and singing into that computer mic and recording WAV files on like Windows 95. And I remember that project was just so profound in the like moving forward in like my mind of just like what was going to be possible as technology advanced. Like, because I like right around that time is when I got my first CD burner, and then I realized like I could take those WAV files I made and like burn them onto a CD. Like I think like that Jackass in the Trailer Parks was probably the first thing that I ever actually like burned a playable CD of. So that was in like 95.
That's so crazy to think about.
Yeah. So it's like kind of cool. So sort of my whole thing with that project was that I remember back when I did it, it was just so stupid and goofy and spontaneous. Like I think I wrote all those songs in one afternoon or something. Just the whole genesis of that project was just all about spontaneity and just being as stupid as possible and just like recording right away. So I always kind of thought in the back of my head, if I ever decided to resurrect that in any way, shape, or form, it like had to kind of like follow the blueprint of the original. Like it had to be spontaneous. It had to like all be written in one day.
Who thought that lightning would strike twice? But
yeah,
it did.
But it did. And it's pretty cool too, because I'm excited because my goal is to keep it as lo-fi and janky as the original, but I also feel like it'd be like a little bit of a disservice if I don't give it my modern take on like what I would want those songs to be. So they're going to be a little more advanced structurally, I think. And that's the other thing. None of the songs are over a minute. They're like all like right around a minute long. Some are just straight acoustic and singing. Some will have maybe, I think I'm going to actually add some of my suitcase drum to some of the songs, which I've never recorded that yet. So that is kind of the perfect project for that.
That sounds actually awesome.
Yeah. And I'm going to probably add some keyboards. Like I've been practicing the songs the last few days, just kind of trying to get things down and getting ideas in my head of like how I'm going to approach recording them. But
so can we expect a solo set at one of the shows?
I mean, I didn't even think about that, but I don't know.
Put your ass on the spot, didn't I?
Yeah.
As thou art thy promoter for the Baltimore show.
Yeah. I mean, I could technically do it, I guess, but that thought never even really crossed my mind at all. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the whole reason of even bringing it up is just that I really honestly think it is I can't remember the last time I made something so spontaneously that I'm also equally like hyped on like the songs. I can't remember the last time I did something in a day that I think the songs are really funny and like pretty cool for as short as they are. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like I'm really hyped on making this recording because I think it actually might be one of the coolest things I've done in a really long time. And
You could show up at the Battle of the Bands for the Vaginal Cup.
yeah, totally. I think I would take the Vaginal Cup, dude. I think I got it in the bag actually. Because these new songs are pretty cool, man. They're pretty funny, and I think one of the things that really I was hyped so much about these songs is that I don't know, man. I've been like kind of working on my other solo shit so much the last couple years that I quote unquote like to say this is like my serious band or whatever, that I even kind of like wondered if I still had it in me to write super goofy original shit. Like, was that even still there? And I don't know. This pretty much proved that I think the true core of my personality is like still 100% activated, because these songs are like pretty fucking ridiculously stupid. So yeah, so be on the lookout for that in the next month or so. Hopefully be releasing
I
that.
anxiously await the arrival of these.
Yeah.
It'll be the best 10 minutes of my life.
I remember Clevenger, Ramon, and Phil, I think, were like the biggest fans of that project. So yeah, there's a little bit of a variety on this one too. There's people of the classic lineup will appreciate some of the new songs, but then there's also a couple new styled songs that don't necessarily follow the complete formula as the old stuff, but staying true to the essence, I think.
That is fucking phenomenal. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited.
So anyway, that was like it was like one of maybe 2 or 3 positive things that came out of me getting fucking uber sick, is like that spontaneously came about as a new project for me. So I'm pretty excited.
I'm also excited that we might have the pit cleaner with us on our reunion shows.
Oh yeah. I understood the move on that, but it definitely made me sad that he wasn't going to be able to play second guitar, but just having him there in any capacity just like makes me feel better about it.
It lowers the IQ of everybody in the fucking room, and it'll make it that much fucking better.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, you said you've been doing your due diligence and hitting the heavy bag to get your cardio up, and that's much appreciated. And I have been doing the same, not in punching a heavy bag, but I have been practicing guitar, these songs specifically, probably more than I've like practiced anything in a really long time. And I mean, even whatever, I'm not saying this in a bragging way, but it's just that I've always been pretty good about remembering shit that I've played on or written. And I had to do a little brushing up on some of the songs, but dude, I swear, I think that I'm probably playing these songs better now than I ever did back in the day. And mainly because I just had never really stopped playing guitar, and I'm like a way better guitar player now than I was back then. So it's really interesting to go back and play these songs with the intention of that they're going to be played live. So actually, putting real meaning and thought and heart behind like playing the songs again and playing them with sort of like my new skill set on guitar. They really do have like a whole different feel to like how it feels playing them now. Like I feel like the songs are still fun to play. I feel like maybe we didn't really give ourselves enough credit back then for like how kind of good the songs really are. And I don't know, the songs have been really fun to play, and I'm really excited to play them live. I've really been like getting hyped to fucking like put on a fucking show with these songs.
Dude, I'm so stressed out.
Why? Why?
I'm just stressed.
You're stressed out because of what I just said, or you were already stressed out?
Oh, I've been stressed out. No.
It's gonna be awesome, dude. What are you talking about?
I think it's gonna be a shit ton of fun. but I feel like I am going to have to compete with my son.
No
And
way.
usually when we play with bands, it's more like a driving force to blow. It always was for me to be the fucking best band there, whether if we were or weren't, but to put on the best show. And I've seen the chlamydiads, and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm gonna
Well,
have to go top shelf, and I don't know if I got top shelf anymore. I might be just a fucking rail drink.
yeah, no, man, that's weird. Like I mean, I don't want to discount your feelings because they're your feelings, but that just seems all of that just seems like an excessive mindset. I don't know. Like for one thing, it's apples and oranges because like they're a totally different band stylistically than what we are musically.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
So like from that aspect of a competition, I don't even see that. But just the fact, like I don't know, like honestly, like my it's weird that you see it this way because I sort of almost see it the exact opposite in that I think that it's already been said by all those guys that they're super stoked to like play with us and see us play. And like
Oh, they are, but now I feel like, but on my, I'm like, are we gonna deliver?
oh, we're gonna deliver, dude. You just
Because
it's
I don't
gonna
want to look like the circle jerk standing up there. If you remember
nah,
our conversation, it's not they didn't put on a good show, but I'm like
nah, it's
I
gonna
want
be
to make
good,
sure
dude.
we have our old energy,
No, it's gonna
or
be
I
good.
have my old energy.
And like I honestly like my one of my most peak moments that I'm like hoping happens and I'm looking forward to is that because this would be like the ultimate touching moment is you putting
Oh,
the microphone out for Gavin to sing some of the words at some point. So like I'm hoping to watch like him and all his band move around and sing to our songs. Like that's like my ultimate goal.
I would be fucking excited. I would totally be. That would be badass. I'd be super happy.
Yeah, like to look over and see you putting the mic out and him like screaming something one of our songs into the mic, like that's like the most epic full circle present you could ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. Or vice versa, us screaming their songs.
Yeah. I
Are you?
mean, just like I'm just stoked to finally see him live, honestly. There's just so many awesome things I'm looking forward to about the show. And one thing is in addition to finding so I went down to storage the other day because I was trying to dig for our CDs because I knew I still had them in there somewhere. But bro, my fucking storage, I've talked about my storage before and it's just there's so much shit in there. But unfortunately, like the all the old stock potty mouth shit is like all in the very, very, very back bottom corner because it's just shit I don't access that often. So it's in the back. So I had to dig so much shit out to get to it. But I found all of our CDs. I found an old roll of stickers, which is
Hell
fucking
yeah.
awesome. But in addition to that, I found a box of like random old stock, just a bunch of different CDs. So I'm actually gonna bring all of those back with me because I just figured some of the stuff is maybe shit that maybe there's people that never got it back in the day who might still want it or just whatever. Like it's just rotting in my storage. So I was like, I'll bring it back and maybe some people will be stoked because I found some old stock. I think it's like literally like the last stack of Tons of Fun CDs.
Oh, that's fucking
Yeah,
phenomenal.
I found about 12 Tons of Fun CDs, and I think that's it. Like that's all of them. So I'm gonna bring those back. I found some other stuff too. I found a couple Christ Puncher CDs actually. So yeah, anyway, that was cool finding all that stuff. And then the thing that was really cool though that I found a little plastic tote that is the actually like the Craven Moorheads plastic tote with like everything Craven Moorheads in it. So I brought that to the house. So I'm hoping like over the next couple of days to start shooting some pictures of stuff to post on Instagram, like leading up to the shows.
Like costume stuff?
No, like no costumes. It's all just like media.
I was gonna say
just like artwork and like CD, just like cover tests, you know, just like different color schemes of colors or of covers. And there's like some cassettes, just like different layouts you did of like, you know, possible layouts for the CD back in the day and all that stuff. So yeah, it was cool. I looked through it a little tiny bit, but yeah, it was cool. Just there's just like stuff I definitely forgot about. Like, oh fuck, I don't even remember us even having these or whatever.
We had a silver cassette, didn't we?
Yeah, so that's one of the things in there. One of the cassette promos. It's crazy, dude. I have all that shit. Yeah, I'm such a fucking hoarder.
Well, so on that note, we should wrap it up and get ready for.
Well, I'll just cut back in with this then. I mean, like I understand where you're coming from with being nervous about the show, but I would say don't be nervous, and it's going to be super fun. And I'm doing my part to bring it 110%, and it sounds like you are too. So I mean, just the fact that you're fucking hitting the heavy bag to get in shape, which also. Before you mentioned about the sheer terror, my first thought was like, oh, so you're saying you need a montage song.
Oh my God, it would be love songs for the unloved, dude. That would be my montage song.
Yeah.
Because I come out blazing. Ugh.
Well, yeah, it feels good to be back. I was definitely missed the podcast, but thanks again to Gene and Fred for filling in, and
thank you guys.
We will talk to you guys next time.
Adios, motherfuckers.
Later.
This podcast was brought to you by Potty Mouth Records. Contact us at pottymouthrecords@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at Potty Mouth Records.